Welcome back to Rocket School. It's finally time to get some hands-on going. Put in some elbow grease and start setting up your Rocket Pool node. Hello all, JT here. In this video, we'll walk through installing the operating system. You'll need to have your staking hardware assembled and ready to go, and we'll walk you through the steps from there. Let's get started. Today, we'll be installing Ubuntu Desktop Linux. You may be more familiar with Windows or Mac, but Linux is the standard for running servers like your node, and using it will make your life much easier in the end, even if you need to learn about it first. It isn't too bad, we promise. First, you need to create a bootable USB drive. Start by getting a new or wiped 16 gigabyte or larger USB flash drive and plugging it into your normal daily driver computer, not the computer that you're using to run the node. Then, go to the link below this video with your daily driver computer and find the most recent link in the LTS section. That's the long-term support section. As of today's video, the version is 22.04.3, Jammy Jellyfish. Ubuntu releases have a number that starts with the year, followed by a period, and the number for the month, followed by a period, and then a version number, followed by a cute name, like Jammy Jellyfish. LTS releases come out about every 2 years, so here we see 22 is the most recent LTS version for 2023. Click on the release and find the 64-bit PC desktop image download link. This is also known as an AMD 64 image. The word image here means downloadable operating system file, not photograph. Note, you could use the Ubuntu server image instead, and many node operators do, but this lacks a GUI, which can be a helpful starting point for beginners, so we'll assume Ubuntu desktop going forward. Click the link and download the ISO file on your daily driver computer. It's a few gigabytes, so give it some time. What you do next depends on the operating system on your daily driver computer, but we'll assume it's Windows. You'll need a tool to turn your downloadable ISO file and USB drive into a bootable USB drive. On Windows, we suggest Universal USB Installer. Download it from the link at the bottom of this video at pendrivelinux.com. Run the .exe file. Click OK on the end user license agreement. Select your USB device. Check the box Prepare this device. A warning pops up. Go ahead and click Yes to proceed. The package will now prepare and install the bootloader files. Success. Click OK. In step 2, drop down, select Ubuntu. Select the ISO file you downloaded earlier. You can leave the persistent file size at 0. Click Create. Give it some time and it will configure your USB drive to let you install Ubuntu with it. Once that is finished, you can take the USB drive out of your daily driver computer. Now, let's go back to your node computer, which should start out turned off. Plug in its power and internet, and a keyboard and mouse and monitor. Also, plug the bootable USB drive you just created into one of its USB ports. With all that in hand, you're ready to install Ubuntu. For most computers, put your finger over the F2 button or the delete button on your keyboard. This is important. Then power on the machine. As soon as your monitor screen starts showing anything at all, spam push the F2 and or the delete button until you're able to enter what is known as the BIOS. These settings are low-level machine settings. Just a note, our machine BIOS presented here is from an Intel NUC. Yours may be different. Your chance to get into the BIOS is only available right as the machine is booting up. So if you miss your chance, restart the machine and try again. We need to go here in order to configure the machine to reboot if there's ever a power outage. This is something that will save you from major headaches at least once in your life. Once you are in the BIOS settings, navigate to Power and then Secondary Power Settings. Find the After Power Failure setting and set it to Last State. Hit F10 to save that change and watch as the machine reboots. Once it is rebooted, this time you don't need to hit F2 or anything. You'll see a text with a screen called GNU Grub. With the option Try or Install Ubuntu selected, hit Enter. On the screen, with nicer graphics that follows, click the Install Ubuntu option. As a note, Try Ubuntu lets you run the operating system without installing it, which is very useful if you ever need a clean, air-gapped machine. But today, we are installing Ubuntu, which takes us into the installation wizard. Next, select a keyboard layout. Many viewers will want English US, but if you use something else, select that instead and hit Continue. Then select Minimal Installation. This will avoid pre-installing a bunch of desktop software that your node really doesn't need. Leave the other options unchecked and hit Continue. Next, for your installation type, select Erase Disk and install Ubuntu. If you are more experienced, you may want to select something else instead and fine-tune your partitions, but new users should select the first option. Hit Continue again. Select your time zone, which will determine which UTC offset timers are reported in the system. And once again, Continue. Having the correct time offset is relevant when you're looking at client software logs. Finish up by coming up with some funny names. Enter whatever you want for your name. It's not important. Just think of it. For the first time in your life, you could truly be anyone you want to be. Truly, anyone. Imagine a world. Okay, anyway, just keep in mind when selecting your computer's name, this will show up in all of your logs, among other places. So it's wise to avoid doxing yourself or revealing that you're staking when picking this. Also, pick a username and password for your first admin user account. Make sure you write these down on paper somewhere safe. Do not save these in a digital file or in a password manager or in a picture on your phone. If someone else finds them, they might hack your node. Select Require my password to log in, but not the other two options, and click Continue for the last time. Now you can sit back while Ubuntu is installed. Once the progress bar completes, you will be asked to restart now, which you should click. Once the machine reboots, you should be shown a login screen where you enter the username and password you just created. This should log you into your freshly installed Ubuntu desktop. You'll be given a few prompts, including to connect to your online accounts, which you can skip. At this point, Ubuntu is ready to go. A fresh installation full of potential. And there you have it. In the next video, we're going to go through all the steps it takes to get our computer ready to be a hardworking Ethereum validator. On behalf of Rocket School, my name is JT.